Hello, Invisiblade here. This is my second-ish VOD review for a player. This is actually the third video I'm going over. It's a high gold player that's looking to get better, that's spent a lot of time with everything and just looking to improve, so I'm trying to help him out. So yeah, we'll jump into this LiveFire game, another Slayer. I've watched about halfway through at 2x speed, so I've got some idea, but not a lot. So we'll give this a watch.
Slay them all, Spartan.
Okay, cool. So this first one, which is better than your last LiveFire game, your first one, where you looked over. If you watched the first video, you already got that. You sprinted up to get to top mid so you can see it, but I think you sprinted a little too long. If you slide right at the end of that, let me swap screens and I'll just kind of show you what I'm thinking here. You come around this corner and you sprint all the way to here. And actually, I think I have it back at 2x speed now watching a regular gameplay. You can sprint to that or slide to there, or do a quick jump and get some shots off as well. Sprinting all the way around, if they're tossing grenades over here, which in higher lobbies they will, so there'll be explosions going off, you actually kind of want to stay a little further back. But, yeah, so I did point that out a lot in the Aquarius Slayer, but I thought I'd just bring it up in this one in case you haven't watched that one yet. And yeah, let's set this back to normal speed, because reasons. All right, here. I don't know if you hear this watching this back. A teammate back in tower, I'm actually getting the left side. The heat wave went off and your teammate died, and you can see it in the kill feed. So you want to go back and see if your teammate, say, meleeed that enemy or put damage, so you can clean it up. And you end up going top mid this direction. I think nope, your other teammate did not clean him up. Sounds like they're fighting, and then that teammate dies.
Overshield.
So it's being able to hear the direction in that situation. So back on shot call, you're here-ish or so, and then you hear, like, audibly, a team or an enemy kill your teammate with the heat wave. So your teammate just died, and you continue here and go top mid. So you want to pay attention to audio cues and come back and try to clean that up. You have another ally that was here. He tries to, but turns out there's two enemies there. So now this ally is taking a 1v2 fight. He also dies. Not one of these guys might have died, I'm not sure. And then you come back over here towards this teammate. So in that case, and I think this is kind of a theme across all three games now, is pay more attention to your audio and realizing where the audio is coming from and use that information to your advantage.
Inbound. Overshield available.
Inconvenient missing the shot, but doesn't matter if you miss by an inch or a mile. A miss is a miss. So Onyx or Gold, misses happen.
Lost the lead.
This is beautiful. I like the one.
Taking the lead. Remote detonation. Lost the lead.
Another spot you could have slid out. Unfortunate one. OS guy as well. I guess the only thing you could do there, but this is very much a hindsight, so it's a little harder live. At this point, you guys have taken a lot of fights over towards B, and earlier you seen a guy on tower, and he didn't push top mid. Maybe he went nest, but also because you guys are all by B, anyone you have killed relatively recently should spawn probably dummies. And so they can flank around to A side, especially if they spawn to us. They are very likely to go A, which instead of just talking about it, I'll just kind of show you. So since you guys are all basically in that area, you've seen a guy here, there's a guy here, I'm not sure where the other two are. If they spawn here or here, it's very likely they will wrap around to A, maybe even do the jump up. Or this guy could have dropped down and came around as well and went jump up or all the way around A. It's a long wraparound, but in your lobbies, this fight, even though it's only one, maybe two guys, right, at most, that fight takes a long time compared to higher lobbies. So these guys have plenty of time to wrap around to get to you while this fight is still happening. So, it is a little harder in game because you're very much focused on this fight, and that's where your crosshair and everything is, which is good. It's just having that sixth sense of I could be getting flanked here will come with practice and time and awareness.
In a hail of gunfire. Overshield inbound.
Good job playing your life there. I'm not seeing anything too specific to point out throughout this whole engagement. It's a long life, which is good. It's convenient that it was a grenade in your face. And it was ally grenade for that matter. Okay, cool. So, at first it kind of seemed a little. Alright, I'm just gonna walk you through. So you start this fight up here, right? And then you back down, which was really good. Or like up to here, this is great. Then you had that teammate push over to the plat side, right? So back on the shot call, you've got your teammate here now, and you're back here. What ends up happening is you kind of stay here, but instead of at a spot where you can fire, you're actually on this side of the pillar looking here. There is an enemy that ends up here. So at first that kind of looks like not necessarily a bad play. But what I would have done differently before this guy came in is I would have wrapped around to this side so that you've got angles to shoot at this guy up here. This guy comes in, which being here is not necessarily bad, but then the way the rest of this engagement goes, right here, now all of a sudden you see a guy down by screens. So this guy's probably dropped down, is my guess. It might have been a third guy. Maybe it was the third enemy that came out, in which case it's different. But I think this guy fell. And you're caught out in the open way over here. You're a little bit out of cover, and so they just nail you, right? And then your teammate's left alone over here. So if at first, before you knew that guy was there, right, we'll just put this over here, and you're over here, and your teammate comes to support you here, if you come to support them again here, when this guy moves in, you're not necessarily in much of a worse position. It's almost the same. But then when this guy falls down, you're not getting isolated, and it's still going to be 2-on-2. And really, here, the two of you, assuming there's not a third guy up here, right? It kind of changes dynamics a little bit. But the two of you can shoot at this guy together, and then when this guy feeds in after that guy dies, two of you can shoot at him and kill him as well. So that was my initial thought, is when your teammate jumped over here and you were over there, re-support him, because he's in front of you now. He's probably going to take the shots. So especially if you take a little bit longer, like if you just beeline into their sight lines, maybe they continue to shoot at you. But you take a little bit longer, and not by much, right? I mean, how long does it take for an enemy player to change their focus? About 1 second. So you take 1 second longer to get across, maybe 2 seconds. Now all of a sudden the two of you can shoot that way. That guy drops down, that guy comes in, and the two of you melt that guy, right? So. And your teammate does play his life run away, which is good.
S7 sniper inbound.
So a point I made out about audio and helping your teammates, this is actually a situation where you played it correctly. Because you heard all the fire, but all of the fire sounded like it was coming from A/window. Your teammates are dummies in OS, and you're looking for the flanker. I do actually like this play where you use the audio cues to know that there's not an enemy close by, and you're looking for him.
Down.
I don't know why you didn't look towards OS there. Yep, and there was goal. Especially where, so, watching the kill feed,
S7 sniper
you have one
inbound.
enemy or one ally go down, two allies go down. So it's just you and the guy in front of you alive. Both of your teammates died over by OS. Chances are the enemy had pushed to OS. And so when you come out this door, instead of looking towards A where they were, I would be looking towards OS because that's probably where the enemy moved towards. And sure enough, there they are, right? So,
S7 sniper available.
okay, so he spawns right in front of your reticle, and looking at the map, that actually kind of makes sense. You have one teammate blocking dummies and C spawn. Looks like you have a teammate out by window, is my guess. So he's blocking back A spawns and OS spawns. The other teammate's kind of in that same area, so they're really blocking that. And then you spawn B, so their only spot is mud, which happens to be in the middle of your crosshair. So this is a bonus. Wait. That's not the one. I have no idea where this guy goes. This is about as far as I made into the video. I don't know where he went. Because he's not the one that died. I don't think that was the same player. I could be wrong. Let's back up a little bit. A little bit further. Yeah, no, this is Valkyrie, right? I don't know where the heck Valkyrie went. Not a clue. This is really weird. Yeah. That is one of the situations, though, because you're up on shields. If you go to this fight, as they're hiding, if you look at your shield, you've only taken one shot, and I know you've put 3 shots in him. I'm pretty sure he's one shot, maybe not quite. I would press that advantage. But maybe he wrapped around the corner. I don't know where he went. That was really weird. Somehow he ended up sandbags. My only guess is he went hard elbow and just sprinted across top mid. And your teammate missed him when your teammate dropped down to collapse on that guy. So yeah, I would have pressed the advantage a little bit sooner, and that could have helped prevent that. You end up killing him here anyway, but that was a weird sequence. And then it was about here where I think I stopped watching. So I don't know what's going on. Nice. Again, I don't know if you hear the shots behind you.
Enemy halfway to victory.
Overshield inbound.
Unfortunate. Turned out to be a 2-on-1. Nice job. No. You have OS. You need to be the front guy. Maybe wait a little longer for your teammates to catch up, but don't back up. Don't wrap around. Maybe they're going that way, but it's hard to tell, and they could go C to top mid, and if you're bottom mid, then you're kind of useless. You have the OS. You need to be the front guy, so you need to push this advantage. Don't let your teammates be the front guys. Turns out there was a guy there. Alright, fair enough. Maybe you got a call out that I don't know about. Oh, and I'll point this out too. I'm thinking about that. What ends up happening here is he gets a melee off on you. Melees are very powerful. They hit really hard. And when you have OS, a melee is actually one of the worst things because it takes away your OS very quickly. So backing up here is kind of the wrong decision anyway. And then because you end up in a melee range fight, you end up losing most of your OS to that. So it's kind of a double negative. When you have OS, you don't want to be in melee range. You want to be in shooting range because it takes longer to drain out the OS than a melee does. Okay, OS is worn out. At this point, I would look nest. This is where you want to know where your teammates are looking, but if you don't hear gunfire, look where they aren't looking. So this fight ends. All three teammates right here. One's looking top mid, the other two are over by OS. No one's firing anything. You could be getting flanked through dummy door, wrapping around a C, or you could be flanked. Why don't I just pull out shotgun? You could have an enemy because you guys are here, right? You're there. You've got a teammate here. You've got a teammate there. And a teammate there, roughly. And you're looking this way to get all that information. The enemy could be wrapping around dummy door and coming up C. Or they could be coming across nest. Very unlikely that they're going to spawn back mud and be wrapping around back C. Most likely they're actually going to spawn B. In which case they could also go this way to dummy door, but they probably haven't spawned up yet. They might spawn big door, they might spawn A, but most likely, I'm going to guess just based looking at that, they're going to spawn in this direction, and anyone alive is either flanking you or hiding out in A. So, but none of you are looking for this flank at this moment. Since no one is firing, check the flank. You're the back guy, you have all the information. You should be the one to turn around and check your flank. And there's the flanker. Although it took him a lot longer to get there, so that could have been a spawner. Yeah, you need to be sprinting across right there to help your teammates. Kinda got pinched, that's okay. Teammates clean him up, very nice. Looks like you guys are behind. I think this is 35. That guy should not have turned around to fight you. That was bad on his part. Good job on that guy to come clean you up, though. I will say, I'm not going to say it's right or wrong. What I would have done slightly different is after you kill this guy, it's possible that he calls out or whatever, and an ally or an enemy for you is going to do exactly what he does, and he comes out this door. But there's also a chance that they're in A, and they're going to look for you over by screens. So my playstyle would have been, instead of hiding in this corner, hiding in that corner there, and waiting for a teammate to push that, because they could do that or this, I would have wrapped around this direction. Sure, there could be an enemy here, and I'd get shot by that guy, but I could kind of use screens maybe, that kind of a thing. Both have their equal pluses and minuses. My playstyle wouldn't be to hide here. I would have tried to wrap around this way, letting this guy find nothing. Maybe even like tried to hide behind screens here, depending on what sounds I'm hearing and stuff. But not a big deal. Like, it's a 50-50 shot. My playstyle is just a little different here. Nice, good kill.
The enemy is weak to bullets.
Okay, that I don't like. The skill is great, but you've got 2 allies going for that OS,
Enemy
and then you're the third
is
guy
weak
going towards it. You're not providing any value right
to
now.
bullets.
And then it turns out you're 4 teammates right here, so all 4 of you are very much bunched up around the OS. I would have probably stayed C after you kill this guy.
On the field.
Right here. Continue to look that way a little bit longer so that you know your teammates are getting it, but don't push it just yet. Instead, start watching for the flank either from dummy door or from top C, because what can happen, again, I'll bring out shot call again. You've got ally 1, ally 2. Right now you don't know where the ally is, your other one, but I'm assuming he's right there. And you are up here, right? And you just killed the enemy that was going to pop it. You just killed him. I don't know where the other 3 are. I wasn't watching the kill feed, so there's that. But you've already got guys here. An enemy could be coming. If you already know all 4 are dead, then this is kind of also a bad play, actually. But if you know all 4 are dead and you're not getting flanked, you can be relaxed. But pushing into here, all 4 of you are bunched up and you don't have any information. Stay up here. If an enemy pushes out dummy door, you're shooting them in the back. If an enemy flanks out C, you're there to fight them as well. So I would start looking C kind of in that double direction, checking both. And maybe even backing up to tower so you've got cover in case they come like across nest or whatever. Staying up here and holding your position would have been better than dropping down and then all of a sudden you've got 4 guys right there. And then that leaves the entire map for them to spawn. They could spawn mud, B, A, although A is kind of unlikely, maybe over in this direction. So you have no idea where the enemy is. You staying up here, even though your teammates are making the mistake of bunching up, that at least tells you they're not spawning mud, because this is, whoops. Let's go yellow. This roughly, I screwed that up. That roughly is the mid-map where you guys are present. So the enemy should spawn on this side of the yellow line. So you know they're either B, A, or dummy door. Or big door, not dummy door. So, and they could spawn nest, I guess, possibly, because that's furthest from those guys. But by you pushing in here, now all of a sudden that cone of influence for spawns is that big, roughly. These aren't exact, right? Just rough drawouts. And thinking about spawns is kind of a higher level thought process for rank, right? Not really something gold think about very often. So this is just really advanced, but even just as a basic level, you don't want to push up there, because then when the enemy flanks out dummy door or pushes across here, all of a sudden you're taking that fight, right, wherever they're at, because you push up here with them. You stay back here, you can shoot the guy in the back if he comes out dummy door, or you can start this fight, back off, and then your teammates who are pushing cuts, maybe the OS guy goes here, they can collapse on that guy.
Confirmed. The enemy is weak to bullets.
Oh, the remote detonation is beautiful. Very nice.
Gain the lead.
So yeah, they spawn B. The way the fights are going. Very nice.
Any team nearing victory lost the lead.
Good playing your life here. Alright, so your teammate died doing melee, so you know the enemy is right where your teammate died. And I don't even see where he was. So,
Lost the lead.
this is close.
5 minutes remaining.
Oh,
Hostile.
beautiful.
Assassinated.
Okay. Oh, he had time to get his shields back. A grenade down there would have been a little better. But otherwise, you just lost a one-on-one. It happens. At every level, Onyx or not, you're going to lose these one-on-ones. And you're going to win some of these one-on-ones, right? It's just, in gold, your mechanical skills and their mechanical skills are at a gold level, roughly. And then in Onyx, they're at an Onyx level, so the fights are faster and stuff. But everyone loses one-on-ones. The fact that you lost that isn't like a bad thing. It's just that fight. That's what you've got to think about is, should I have taken that fight? In that case, it was close. He managed to get his shields back just in time before you engaged. So maybe chase him a little faster or toss a grenade instead. But yeah, the one-on-one fight, the fact that you lost it, it just is what it is.
Gained the lead.
Overshield inbound.
Lost the lead.
That was a moment you could have managed, but tight game. Grab the spikes. I like it.
Defeat.
Oh, and then your teammates end up dying. So the end of it was the end of it. I mean, I like grabbing the spikes because I'm expecting your teammates to try to stay alive. They end up fighting a lot. So that would be a difference in just the lobby situation. Right here when you spawn up, can I rewind like 1 second? No? Alright. Right here, you've got one teammate dead. I can't see the score. I assume you can. It's just the YouTube. It looks like they're 48 and you're 47. Grabbing the spikes is a smart idea in the higher lobbies because you know your teammates are going to try to play their life. You don't necessarily have to back them up right away. In this case, actually looking at that, both your teammates are kind of out in the open. So you want to get in a position to help them. And that is a difference where your play styles would change based on your matchmaking and the lobbies you're in. So going back to grab these spikes, smart idea in the higher lobby, and you're probably used to that with some of the 4 stacks you've been running. But in this case, because you're in the gold lobby and your teammates are probably going to die, you need to be in a position to help them to try to stop them from dying. But otherwise, I thought this play was smart, just your teammates were not in the same position that I would expect them to be. So you just kind of have to adjust your playstyle at each lobby. That'll change as you get into Platinum and Diamond as well. Like your playstyle will evolve around the people you're playing with. So, but yeah, I think the biggest things to take away from all 3 videos, using your audio cues more, backing your teammates up a little bit more, and a little bit more like enemy awareness, which is hard, like knowing the spawns and stuff, which is also a more advanced concept. And then moving faster. Like you want to sprint at times, use the slide, even if you're not drop sliding, use the slide to get around a corner rather than just walking or especially sprinting around a corner. Yeah, that's all I can think of off the top of my head of what I remember over the last little bit. So hopefully these are helpful. And that's all I've got.